The New York Jets are winning football games, their defense is rolling, but they've got work to do on offense. Heading into the bye, they must address their red zone woes. So let's take a look at the All-22 versus the Eagles and I'll show you what's halting the Jets offense. Let's go. What's going on, everybody? It's Luke here from Play Like a Jet, and we are back in the film room with another All-22 breakdown, and today we're going to shine a spotlight on the Jets' red zone offense. Against Denver and Philly, it's been a pain point. The Jets have struggled to get the ball in the end zone, but the good news is we're winning games, and we have an opportunity to come out of the bye and improve in this area. As you know, when something's not working with the Jets offense, it is Zach Wilson's fault. That's what the fan base thinks, but I'm here to show you that the All-22, particularly against Philly, shows so many self-inflicted wounds. Here's the first one. Jets driving in plus territory. I know it's not the red zone, but Aaron Rodgers has made an impact on Zach Wilson. As I let this roll, look at the hard count. Draws them offside. We've got the free play. Zach Wilson dancing, doesn't like what he sees. He finds Garrett Wilson over the middle. The Jets are going to be inside the 10. They are rolling. Bang. Blindside block from Allen Lazard. Now, I know a lot of fans are confused by the terminology. Blindside block. This is the correct call. There's nothing wrong with this decision. As soon as a player is moving laterally across the field or towards his own end zone, you cannot block him with your shoulder head on like this. Call it a crack side block, whatever you want to call it. It is illegal. It's a mistake from Allen Lazard. We saw it from Cobb in the preseason as well. But Zach Wilson makes an incredible play. The Jets should be first and goal from the 9, but instead, they're going to be in 2nd and 23. Think about that for a second. You go from a great play, a huge confidence booster, not just a throw, but drawing Philly offside, and it turns into a 2nd and 23. Horrendous for the Jets, but unfortunately, it gets even worse on the very next play. We're going to look at this one from the end zone angle. I want you to focus on Zach Wilson for a minute because this is great from a mechanical standpoint. Out of shotgun, you're going to see Zach get the football. He feels pressure from the right, but look at his base, perfectly aligned. And he hits Allen Lazard, and he drops the football. So on back-to-back snaps, we've gone from 1st and 10 to it should be 1st and goal from the 9 to 2nd and 23, and then we come out, we're reeling, we've got to recover, get ourselves in a 3rd and manageable. Zach does a great job, feeling pressure, shift, stay aligned, rip that ball, bang. It's going to be 3rd and 10. Despite all of this, it's going to be 3rd and 10. Lazard drops it again. You cannot have these self-inflicted mistakes when you're coming into plus territory. You can't overcome it with Aaron Rodgers, never mind with Zach Wilson, who technically is a backup quarterback. The reason these drives are stalling are not because of Zach Wilson. I'm here to defend him because there were so many mistakes from the Jets offense and they weren't coming from number 2. Okay, let's fast forward now to another red zone trip from later in the game. And I completely understand, if you're watching this play at home, why you'd think this is on Zach Wilson. We're going to have motion from Randall Cobb from right to left, Zach Wilson on the naked bootleg, no one to throw it to, throw it away, get rid of the football, but he takes the sack, he's holding onto the ball too long. I get it. I understand why you'd think that's the case, but there are so many things wrong with this play from both a structural X's and O's point of view and the execution from the Jets wide receivers and tight ends. Let's start with Hackett. Why are we running a naked bootleg to Zach Wilson's weak side where he has to square up to throw? He's not going to his right-hand side. He can't take on the defensive end. But in conjunction with that, we're running it right to Hassan Reddick, a former linebacker and one of the most athletic defensive ends in the NFL. I don't understand why we're doing this. I don't think that's structurally a very intelligent thing to do from a play calling perspective. But there's something much worse that's going on with this play. When you run a naked bootleg like this, and Zach Wilson's going from right to left, freeze it right here. We should have a man where I have circled in the flat going from right to left across the formation. The Jets don't. Look at Randall Cobb. By the time he goes in motion and ends up running his route, freeze it right here, Zach Wilson gets his head around, there's no one to throw it to. Randall Cobb is 20 yards away and all the way outside the numbers. That's not where he should be if he's meant to be that guy. But I actually think it might be Ruckert who's at fault here. Have a look at the right-hand side of your screen, attached inline tight end. Jeremy Ruckert goes to chip block and then release to the flat right now and gets his head around. He thinks he's in the game. I have a feeling that Jeremy Ruckert is the one who's supposed to be that man in the flat because we saw it later in the game. Look at this right here. Zach Wilson executing, sees the guy on the bootleg, defeats the defensive end and gets the ball to Jeremy Ruckett. But on this occasion, as we go back to this play in the red zone, Zach Wilson turns around, the naked bootleg, and no one's there. Now, I can hear you at home saying, Lazard's open, Lazard's open. When you're reading this out, you're looking for someone directly behind the defensive end. And in conjunction with that, look at this, Zach Wilson's got to square his feet, turn around to get aligned, and by then, Haason Reddick's in his lap. You cannot get that football away. He does the right thing to eat it. He's still in the tackle box technically. This would be an intentional grounding if he throws it away, and he doesn't have the time to square up and throw the ball to Allen Lazard. You cannot boot naked away from Zach Wilson's strong arm. You shouldn't do it to Haason Reddick, and you need someone in behind the hashes running from right to left. This is abysmal play calling and even worse execution from the Jets offense. This is why drives are stalling. I'm telling you, you have to look more at the film. Another red zone trip for Wilson and the Jets offense here, and once again, they do their best Plaxico Burress impersonation. They shoot themselves in the foot. Jets are driving, Philadelphia 12-yard line, Zach Wilson out of empty, they're being aggressive on first down, and as we let this roll, you get an obvious hold from Wes at the right guard spot. Zach Wilson's flushed, the flag comes out, and it's now 1st and 20. You cannot score touchdowns and you cannot win games of football like this frequently and regularly with these kind of mistakes. But to make it even worse, when Zach gets to the top of his drop right here, he's on time, his base is aligned, and he's ready to drive this football underneath to the little dig from the number 1, but Wes is just bullied into his lap and he's flushed. This is a good play call, it's open, Zach Wilson is in the right spot with his eyes and feet, but the Jets can't take advantage of it. That's why it's frustrating. You're not just getting a 1st and 20 and putting yourself in terrible spots behind the sticks, but you're missing out on easy completions for your quarterback, even when he's doing the right thing. But once again, like the last instance, it gets compounded. Now here we are, it's 1st and 20 in the red zone. Well, technically now we're outside of the red zone. Zach Wilson's eyes go right. The Jets are in a little 3-by-1. He makes the right decision. I know people want him to come off and go to Lazard, but this play is designed to go to Cobb. Cobb is open and it's a drop. Now look, I am not here to blindly defend Zach Wilson. Is this the perfect football? No, it's not. But this ball is on Randall Cobb's back shoulder. This is not behind him. It is put on his chest. You can't see it super well from this angle, but Zach Wilson puts this ball in a fine location. JT O'Sullivan talks about this all the time. There are bad misses and there are anticipation misses. Look when Zach Wilson separates to throw this football. Right here. Randall Cobb is only making his break and Zach Wilson starting to go into his throwing motion. This is not an egregious miss to just put this on the back shoulder. Yes, I'd love Zach Wilson to lead him here, give him an opportunity to the inside, but this is a drop. We've just had a penalty on 1st and 10 in the red zone. It makes it 1st and 20. You've got a Walmart between you and the end zone, and now we're dropping footballs. You need to do more to help your young quarterback. So guys, there's 3 examples of the Jets stalling in plus territory and on red zone drives against the Eagles. It isn't just as simple as Zach Wilson playing poorly. The Jets are not executing on offense, the X's and O's are poor, and they need to stop shooting themselves in the foot with pre-snap penalties.